Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Megaman ZX. Last time, after defeating our 4th Pseudoroid, we got a report from Perry that things aren't going so well back at HQ, and now we should probably go see her to get the full details on the situation. Prairie, what's the current situation with the enemy fleet? Not good. They're right on top of us. The ship wasn't designed for a heavy battle. If the enemy boards us, we're done for. Slither Incorporated's fleet has fired an opening volley. Returning fire. All hands man the port and starboard machine guns. Don't let them get any closer. Ale, you have to get to the deck and do what you can to stop those boarding parties. I'm on it. I won't let anyone get hurt. I'll keep every last Guardian safe. And now we need to head back up to the deck. If you don't remember where that is, it's the very top floor of the elevator. That's where we met that guy who we also talked to back during our certification mission, actually. Honestly, this entire section reminds me a lot of Megaman 01, because similarly back then, there was a midway mission you got after you attempted 4 missions. You didn't have to clear them, you just had to have attempted them and had them leave the menu in some way, so you could theoretically fail them. That's the one where you fought Hanu Machine, I believe. Only this time, there's actually a lot more enemies you have to face, and these boarding party things, I don't even know what to call these little squad cars, I guess, have a bit too much HP for their own good. They take more than both charge shots combined. This is another reason that I switched my charge method to having the R button be my sub-weapon before the high volt mission, because I realized, you know, it's just more convenient for me to do it this way. Though a weird little game mechanic in this game, if you start attacking with one of your weapons, you'll actually start slowly charging the other if you're on the switch method of sub-weapons, which is there, I suppose. Either way, this is pretty trivial. Wow, that's a flimsy-ass ship. Wait a second. I've seen them before. Enemy troops have boarded the ship. They're heading for the engine room down below. You have to get down there and protect the engines. Hurry! I'll stop them. Now, the engine room is also something I've shown off before. It's that one room to the right on the bottom floor of the HQ. It's actually a room that has a nice little reference in it visually to some concept art of 0, 3, and 4 in the background in particular. But I'll get more into that later, because we're coming up on some cutscene differences between the Ale and Vent campaigns. I'll get more into those during the next major stage, though. Also, watch out for these bottomless pits, because you will fall into them on your first playthrough more than likely, and it sucks because you're not expecting them. Hey you! Stand away from the reactor! Move aside. Prairie, are you okay? Ale! You, the girl from before. Model X, Model Z, together. Or should we just say Model ZX now? I came here to crush the Guardians once and for all. But it's such a shame it has to end so easily. I'll find out whether or not you're worthy of being a pawn in his grand game. Game? Whose game? Prometheus, it's not fair. Don't worry, I'll be sure to leave some fun for you. That is, unless she's too fragile and gets blown to pieces. Ale! Stay back, Prairie. I'll take care of him. Alright, time for us to fight Prometheus, and this is going to be a very quick fight. Despite his looks, he is fire elemental, thus Model HX is the best model to take him on with due to the overdrive attacks. Prometheus loves teleporting all over the place and causing his fire attacks to go all over the screen like this. His worst attack is the one that he's about to use though in a moment, where he stays in the center of the screen and causes 4 energy skulls to be fired out, and they'll fire out bullets at you, and this is very hard to avoid consistently. Thankfully, I destroyed him. Interesting. You're more powerful than I expected. You are worthy of being one of us. Consider yourself part of the game. One of you? You must be joking. Your name was Ale, wasn't it? Well, I like your spirit, so I'll let you off this time. Wait! Ale, you still have a long way to grow before you're ready to challenge us. Come to us when you're ready. Model W will be waiting with open arms. Ale, are you alright? Who am I? Commander Prairie, the enemy fleet is moving away. The enemy has retreated. I want a damage report. And make sure the wounded get priority. Understood. Ale, come back to the command center. You have to tell me everything you know. Who am I? Why was Jiro watching over me all those years? Calm down, Ale. I don't know much about what's going on either. The one that gave Jiro the order to protect you was the first commander. By first commander, you mean your sister, right? The order was to protect anyone that survived the Maverick raid. At first, I didn't understand why she would give such an order. But when I saw Jiro transform into the Model Z Megaman, I finally understood the reason. Survivors of the Maverick raid share the ability to transform with the power of the Biometal. People like you and Jiro. I'm telling you the truth when I say that's all I know. I have no idea why some are chosen to be Mega Man while others are not. I'm guessing the only one who knows the real truth behind all of this is Serpent. So if I want the truth, I'm going to have to keep fighting. Alright then, give me my next mission. I have to find out just who I really am. Now it's after you fight Prometheus that the dialogue changes. I can't believe this happened. I was too naive. You can see how hard they hit us just by walking across the deck. I can't let myself get emotional. If Sis were here, she would be strong. And now, before we actually head on to the next mission, I actually want to take a look around the base really quick, so there's a few things I can now show off. First off, notice some new things here in Prairie's room. There are now little dolls of all the Pseudoroids we fought up here. That only happens if you get a level 4 victory, so aside from getting the slightly larger weapon energy bar, you can also get a bit of a, I guess, remarking that you got a level 4 victory on them through that. And now let's go check out something in the lab. You might remember I mentioned there's a way to repair Biometal if you didn't get a level 4 victory. To do that, you have to go to the sleeve and select Repair Biometal. To get something from level 1 all the way up to level 4, it costs 1,700 energy crystals, which is about all I have right now. So grinding for that up is ridiculous. That's actually why I'm actually going for level 4 victories in this specific playthrough. Next up, I actually want to head down to the bottom of no, not the bottom, floor 2 and head over here to talk to Bar. His first through dialogues aren't anything important, but eventually he will actually give us another chip, which I actually want to mention that I misspoke about something. When we got the eraser chip, I said that you could only equip one. I am actually thinking of the forms back from 02. You can equip as many chips as you want, except I think 1 or 2 of them will trade places automatically, kind of like the Spazer and Plasma Beam in Super Metroid. And now we have the Featherweight one, which allows us to walk on crumbling surfaces without them, well, crumbling. And now it's time for us to go take on our next mission. Now, at this point, we have an entire new set of missions that we've been slowly getting throughout the previous few Pseudoroids. And at this point, it doesn't really matter what order you take them on in. At this point, I'm just going after the easiest one, which is recover the disc. There's also an easy life up to get in that one, so that's my reasoning for going here. So let's hear the description for this. We received a report about the Guardian Recon Unit data disk intercepted by the enemy. The word is that the Slither Incorporated unit that has it is on the move. The enemy is transporting it using a tunnel deep under the sea in Area J. Head to Area J and recover the data disk. Alright, now you might be wondering, where the hell is Area J? Well, we saw a door to Area L back all the way in Area H, however, it's not in Area H. We have to access it through Area A1, which is ridiculous. So I actually have to go all the way back to where we first transformed into Biometal Model X, and then we need to head left. Eventually, you're going to find a door, and the entrance is through there. Again, that is one of my biggest issues with ZX, the fact they don't tell you where to go in order to find the next objective. If they gave you like a little hint, like a marker as to where, like, say, area J1 would be on the map, that I would have less of an issue, because then you'd have at least a general idea of where it is, but no, we actually have to go for looking for it. And if it's not entirely obvious by the water around us, Area J, as well as the summary of the mission actually, Area J is underwater, so it's time for Model L to actually shine for once. Admittedly though, this is actually one of my favorite missions in terms of just like the playing of it. The data disk contains the report that Sis was working on when she was in the recon unit. So that disk is going to contain the rest of the data that was missing from the one that we found at the distress call terminal. We found the enemy delivery unit along with a biometal signature. There must be something important stored on that disk. The biometal signature is further back in the same area. Be careful, Ale. And now for the first time we can actually fully explore using Model L, and Model L underwater is amazing. You have so much movement range. Your attacks cover all around you, really. It's just really fun to be underwater as Model L. Though, as I mentioned before, this level also has probably the easiest life up in the game to get. Why? It's just right there. I don't get why this is exactly like this, because you need to have Model L in order to get this far, so why have it like that? The way I would have done it is maybe have another, like, ice barricade there, just like the one where in the area where we fought Leraire, just so there can only be some consistency there, but also so that you have something you can maybe not have by the time you access this stage. Also, there's a trans server room here. Keep this place in mind for later. We're going to be coming back to it next part. Now, going over the dialogue differences in those cutscenes a few moments ago that I was talking about in the Vent campaign, after you beat Prometheus, he actually directly mentions Prairie's sis, and that actually causes the cutscene after the fight, but the conversation between Vent and Prairie in specific, to go more into detail about who sis was. And it's in that cutscene that it's never fully, like, stated, but it's very heavily implied through visuals as well as just like a cutscene image, that her sis is CL from the Zero series. Which, you might be wondering, it's been like 200 years since Zero. How could she be alive? In the manual for Zero and the ZX games, they state that humans now have longer lifespans due to some cybernetic implementations, so CL could have been alive through that. And that actually goes a bit into the identity of Prairie herself, because she is more than likely a character from the Zero series as well. But first I should go over this mini-boss. This mini-boss is actually really easy, even though it can take a while if you're just doing this little spin attack like I'm doing here. The way you actually want to try and damage it is by standing on the little thing and trying to attack the worms. This mini-boss doesn't pose much of a threat, however, it can take a while. Just make sure to keep your health high, even though getting hit is pretty hard in my case. Either way, going back to the Prairie topic. Due to the stuffed animal that you have to get for her back in the certification mission, as well as her status as a blonde Reploid who was around during a time with CL, she is very heavily implied to be Alouette, the little Reploid girl that Zero was friends with back in the Resistance bases in the Zeros 1 through 4. And that is strongly supported because Alouette also called CL sis. Now, they never explicitly state that fact, but it's more or less the way it's supposed to be, if I recall. And that actually goes into a bit of a dichotomy that the two campaigns have in ZX. Vent's campaign is much more about the characters that aren't in the game, like CL, like Prairie's past and such. Whereas Ale's, through some of the Prometheus dialogue especially, more so hints towards future events in the ZX series. Either way, we're coming up on the boss. We want to switch over to Model FX and switch on over our paths to be more of a horizontal, then up at the last second kind of path, because this will make the boss that much easier. Though honestly, this boss is easy to the point where it doesn't really matter. You probably could be good with just one of these. If you're low on weapon energy for Model FX, though, I do recommend going to farm it up, because it's going to make this fight that much easier. Either way, let's see who we got here. Wow, you're big.
So you're the great Megaman that keeps trying to interfere with our plans. I suppose it's asking too much to expect someone so young to understand what we're trying to do. You should respect your elders and listen to us old folk.
You're asking for respect when you're going around hiding the truth from the people? Yeah, you're a great role model.
Sometimes ignorance is bliss, little one. I'm the model little Pseudoroid, Leganchor. It looks like I'll have to teach you some respect.
Leganchor the Galroid's weakness are those giant turbines on the top of his body. And the thing you have to hit is that little face, and the face above it in the center. This is why I customized the pads the way I did, because I can just stand the ground right here and just shoot upwards toward his face with no fear of hitting his weak spots. He is the easiest Pseudoroid in the game, not only to beat, but also to get a level 4 victory on. Lurere is the second one, and honestly is actually kind of apparent that all the ice Pseudoroids are very easy, actually. Honestly, I probably would have put this guy before Lurere.
Why do you fight so hard? Why do you risk your life for those fools? Youth is wasted on the young.
I do love this guy's design, though, because I actually really am a fan of Megaman bosses that aren't, like, customarily human designed. How could anyone give my power to someone like that? I'm sorry, it'll take some time to recover the password. I'll make sure it's available before you have to take on Model W. Now that we've beaten Leganchor, though, high volts back in area E7. That allows you to get future level 4 victories if you didn't get it before, so you can get the prairie stuff, I suppose. But now look at Model L's weapon energy bar. It is now at its fullest because of the 2 level 4 victories we got on the Model L Pseudoroids. It also allows you to finally charge your shots up to the gold aura, and I'm actually screwing up with how it works. You have to hold up in the attack button to actually do the new charge attack. Ale, the data disk is... Yeah, the recon unit report is on it. Serpent wiped out the recon unit and vanished. With the Model W fragment. Others had come into contact with the fragment, so I don't understand the reason Serpent was the only one affected. If I recall correctly, there was one thing that was different. He was a Maverick raid survivor. His passion for the research must have been linked to his fear. Model W must have been able to manipulate his emotions. However, that still leaves the question of what Model W is after. I don't have much longer. I pray that this data doesn't fall into the wrong hands. Serpent was awfully worried about that data leaking out. He must have known the reaction that the people of this country would have if they knew the truth. Send the data disk along with your mission report. We can't allow the information contained on it to get out until we know exactly what it is. So Serpent's the survivor of a Maverick raids just like me. If he became what he is now, what's to stop me from becoming the same thing? Ale, you won't become the same as him. Remember the courage you showed when you saved me. If you hold on to that purity, you won't stray from the right path. Ah, well that's interesting. Notable, both of the data disk fragments are a bit different in the vent campaign. Again, that's just going over the different cutscene stuff. Either way, with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 8, we're going to be finishing off our ventures through Area J, heading back to that trans server room, and heading on to our next mission after that. See you guys then.